This story from Kendrick Lamar was really cool, and it just showcases 50 Cent's impact in hip hop culture and how much he means to not only the older generation, but the newer generation of artists. And of course, as we know with the Final Lap Tour, he's getting his just due with sold out shows in America left and right, and then even around the globe. So Kendrick Lamar did an interview with Interview Magazine. That's a really funny, different type of title, Interview Magazine. On there, he speaks highly of 50 Cent and says he was blown away by his wisdom. So let's go over the article. Kendrick Lamar has spoken highly of 50 Cent in a new interview, crediting him with changing his perspective with something he once said. K. Dot and Nigerian singer Tems sat down for a conversation about music and creativity for Interview Magazine on Tuesday, August 29th. While reflecting on the early days of his career, Kendrick said he used to study the Unit Mogul's music and interviews, and he once dropped a jewel that has stuck with him till this day. He said, "Now, I've always studied 50 Cent's music and watched his interviews, and someone asked if he was a conscious artist," K-Doc recalled. He said, "Yeah, I'm a conscious artist because I have a conscience." That is hilarious. I have a conscience. That's why I'm a conscious artist. That is... Like, come on, bro. Like, the way 50 just be saying stuff, and even shout out to Brian. He did this new 50 Cent interview. 50 just got so much gems and jewels he drops in every single interview. He'll just drop it here and be like, yo, whenever you guys pick this up, you guys know what time it is. So shout out to him and always saying dope things. He said, Kendrick continued, he said, "That shit blew me away. It gave me a different perspective." 50 drops a lot of jewels that give me different perspectives, but that one right there gave me a sense of, okay, a lot of artists live and know how to project duality. He added, "That's the true gift because that's what life is about in its wholeness. When I seen that, I said, I can relate to that. And what you're saying is confirmation that that's still alive. It's really dope to hear another artist say it. Let us know we not crazy." Kendrick Lamar and 50, as you guys remember, they did a song together called We Up back in 2013. If you haven't heard that song, to me personally, I think it's one of 50 Cent's best tracks. Hook on that is crazy. Kendrick kills it. Video is dope. It was supposed to be one of the singles off 50 Cent's upcoming album at the time, Streaking Immortal, but we never got the album, and it never ended up becoming an actual single, even though they shot a video for it. But then they worked on Power together. They acted together back in 2018, which was really cool. That was Kendrick Lamar's debut acting role, and he nailed it out the park. I mean, I think he still has a future in acting if he really wants to pursue it. So if you haven't seen the Power acting with 50 and Kendrick, that's really cool. And if you haven't heard the 50 Cent and Kendrick song, We Up, that's really dope as well. So check those two out. I think I would love more from these two. And overall, man, it's really cool to see people praise 50 Cent a lot more nowadays. It seems like there is some revisionist history when it comes to 50, and I don't like that. I know people tend to forget and think, oh, all 50 had was the Get Rich or Die Trying album. He only had one hit album, and, he fell off after that. No. This guy literally dropped Get Rich or Die Trying. In the same year, dropped Beg for Mercy, then Help Banks, Help Buck, Help Yayo, Help Game, and then dropped Massacre. Obviously, Yayo was after the Massacre, but Game dropped before the Massacre. Yeah, so then dropped the Massacre, which, by the way, wasn't just a flop, and it was just, oh, he's a one-album wonder. That shit did 1.14 million in 4 days. And you guys were talking about, oh, that was he's a dime was nothing. Number one records, Candy Shop, just a little bit. All these tracks on there. And I love that album. I think Massacre is very underrated. Over, 12 million records sold worldwide, 10 million, 12 million, something like that. Diamond worldwide. Boom, came back with Curtis, which I think is another album that people sleep on and compare it constantly to Graduation because they had that battle. But Curtis in itself, standing on its own, is a top 5 hip-hop album of 2007, easily. So how does he fall off with that? Hit record, AO Technology, hit record, I Get Money. Before I Self-Destruct, more of a hip-hop record. And yeah, it might not have had those hits. Like Baby By Me was a good hit, but it wasn't like what he used to have. At that point, that's when the fall-off started. But Before I Self-Destruct was an amazing album, too. I think people like to say only 50 had one album, but you guys don't know all the mixtapes too, man. Stop playing with Fifth, man. Stop doing revisionist history. I'm glad 50's getting his flowers like he's supposed to. Kendrick showing love. J.Cole saying Get Rich is one of the best albums of all time. Drake's showing him love. So a lot of the top dogs in hip-hop right now praise 50 a lot because 50's opened the lane in a lot of different ways. When it comes to business especially, he's the one that taught artists to own equity in your company. He was the first one doing that in hip hop with Vitamin Water. Made a killing off it. The report is 100 million, but if you actually look at the numbers, he made about 400 million off that. Because he owned about somewhere to 8 to 9%, and it sold for like 3.4 billion, something like that, 3.4 or 4.3 billion. How much did Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola buys Vitamin Water. It might have been for I know it was either 3 or 4 billion. Yeah, 4.1 billion. So you do the math, 9%. Let's just see. Let's just say he owned 8%. Fuck it. What is 8% of $4.1 billion? What is that? 328 million. But it was more than 8%. I think it was like 9%. Any number that comes up to 400 million was the amount he owned, or somewhere around there. Because 9% is, or even 10 might have been. Yeah, 10 is a little bit. It was under 10, but it was like above 8. So regardless, around $400 million. Even Buck says it on one of the TOS tracks. But 50 couldn't say it because he had a non-disclosure agreement where you can't, talk about numbers like that. So they reported 100 million, but it was 400. So shout out to 50, man. Always dropping jewels, always dropping gems. If I ever get the chance to interview him, of course, I think I'll have the best interview of all time when it comes to 50 because I know that guy's career in and out, and that would be amazing, man. I think that would be one of the coolest interviews of all time. I could do an interview that nobody else could do just because I know his everything, basically. I know everything about 50. I know where he sleeps. I know what his address is. I know what time he was eating Burger King. I know everything. I'm just playing. I'm just joking, guys. Relax. I'm not a stan. I'm a fan. I'm not a stan. I'm a fan, guys. I'm a fan. I always show love to 50, and there's stuff that I don't, agree with, or I think that isn't that good in terms of content that sometimes he comes out with. But I remember I was criticizing Power. I was like, yo, this shit's about to be ass cheeks. 50 is not good at TV shows. He had failed at the time with the money and the power. But, I keep it. Being yes men does never help. Never helps. So I like to be honest with everything that I see. And obviously 50's flipped that and proved me wrong because in the acting world, I was like, I don't know, man. But he killed it with Kanan. He hopped on 4 Live, did his thing on there too. Now he's on Expandables 4, which I'm going to go see. So 50's doing his thing, man. Shout out to him. He always finds a hustle. And yeah, so shout out to Kendrick for talking about this. This is very cool. This is what I mean. I wish Kendrick, Cole, Drake would do a lot more interviews. It's just cool to get these type of pieces in interviews, little pieces, stories like this. So shout out to Kendrick for that. That's really dope of him to say. And hopefully we get more music from 50 and Kendrick. I'm all for that. If you guys are for that, let me know. Drop a comment below. If you're listening to this audio, man, I don't know. Just DM me and be like, yeah, I'm for that. I want to hear more Kendrick and 50. So shout out to them too.